Hello there. Come on in, please. Have a seat. Of course, you're welcome. I couldn't deny you entrance into this meeting. My name is Basil. I'm here. I'm as your HR representative. I just have some feedback for you. Just some conversation. I just need to have a conversation with you about a few things. Are you okay with that? Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I understand you can control time. You can sort of do whatever it is that you need to do. But, I'm really happy that you were able to sort of slot this in for the two of us. Absolutely. Okay. Well, so I just wanted to discuss with you, since, you are fairly new to the role here, your previous, the person who was who was in your position before did, of course, quit in sort of in a lot of fury, let's say. But some people, that just can't handle the stress of this kind of job, and this job is very difficult. It's very difficult. It's very hard, and it's not for everybody. It's really not. Yeah, there's a lot of like moral quandaries that you end up having, and you start to become sort of a monster. But it's okay. We want you to become a little bit of a monster, but a monster that we can control. Okay? All right. So, let's see here. So, your role is, of course, as God. And as God, you have quite a few things that we need to discuss. So, here at our company, as you know, when we hired you, we need you to sort of guide the world into a sense of disarray, right? We want you to be we want you to be not great, but passable. We just need you to be passable, right? We want there to be strife so that we can benefit from it, so we can profit from it, which is why we had you create capitalism. So, but that's neither here nor there. This is a general you, of course. You had only recently started. You weren't the one that created capitalism, but you are going to have to continue it. So, we did, of course, make sure that you read up on all of the and like a lot of works on capitalism to make sure you know how evil it is, so that you can continue doing it. So, let us talk a little bit about what we're going to do today and what I'm going to discuss with you, right? So first, we're going to talk about some basics, since you are new here. It's our first real meeting. And then we're going to do some tasks, just some things that responsibilities that you have that I want to make sure that you know that you should be doing. Then I have some issues. Okay, so now, because you are God, you sort of both retrofittingly became God in the past and in the future. It's a very murky sort of time-wise situation. So I do just have some questions for you, because these are issues that I have with your work, right? Things that you could maybe improve upon, and then there's, of course, like some feedback that I'll have for you. Just some basic stuff, nothing too complicated. And of course, some new policies. We're going to, of course, talk about some new policies here at the company, things just to keep in mind. We're having office days again. We're coming back in office, and it would be really wonderful if people could see God again. I think that it's been so long since people have been able to see God that I think that it'll be very helpful for everybody involved. Okay, so let's talk, but that's going to be a little bit later. So let's just talk about some basics here. Okay, so can I get your name? Right, so that is wrong. You shouldn't be giving me your previous name anymore. You should be just saying God or Almighty or, whatever pseudonym that you want. I think that would be most helpful. This is sort of a trick question, right? If you end up meeting somebody, someone who is, isn't part of this, then you need to be able to answer them in ways that are actually real, right? Or at the very least consistent. So, can I get your age? I know, very funny, very funny. Yes, that is sort of like an infinite number here. But, it is kind of interesting to ask that question. Can I get your previous occupation? Depends on who you ask. Yeah, so like shepherd, or were you like a stonemason? A lot of different answers here. You're a poet at one point. Very, very interesting. Okay. And can I get your gender? See, this is one of the things that I really don't understand. You refuse to abide by you created gender, but yet you refuse to abide by it. It's very interesting to me. Okay. And I, of course, talked to your references. A person named Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses was one of them. Is that right? Okay. Okay. And could I get your address? Yes, I know you moved recently. You were once up above, right, in heaven, but you're not there anymore, from what I understand. Okay, you started hanging out in hell a little bit. It is a little bit funner in there. Could I get the particular sector that you're in within hell? Okay. And how were the crows in there? Are they good? Okay, yeah. Last I talked to them, they were having a really good time. There was a lot of orgies happening, and it was honestly a sight to behold. So let us move on. Okay, that's all the basics that I have here. Did any questions so far? Anything that any information that I might not have that you want me to have? No. Okay. Let us move on then to the tasks. These are the responsibilities that you're going to have while you're working as God. So, of course, it's going to be a lot of creation. You're going to create a lot of things. You can, of course, destroy. Destroying is actually very good, as Einstein once said, nothing can be created nor destroyed, and that doesn't apply to you, right? So that's big. Why? Because he was stupid. So the thing that's going to happen here is we need you to create a lot of things, because destroying things is actually not very helpful for us, because if you destroy it, then we can't create more global warming, we can't create more waste, and then we can't benefit from people needing ways to circumvent the the side effects of global warming, right? If things are getting hotter, people will need more air conditioners, and lo and behold, we also sell air conditioners. So we need people to actually need those things. And of course, air conditioners are bad for the environment. And so it's just a self-serving system here that we've created, you've created, that we need to perpetuate. So with that, of course, you have created life, but you're going to have to continue doing that. We do need more people. You also need to create some death. I think death is very important because it gives people a fear. It gives people something to maybe not work towards, but it's aspirational death. Of course, we need you to create pain. Without pain, how are we going to exploit our workers? I think that's incredibly important for you to do that. And I also want to make sure that you understand that there's many different kinds of pain. There's very psychological pain. There's physical pain. There's also traumatic events, like memory. It's honestly, if you could come up with new ways of inflicting pain upon someone, I think that would be very, very helpful for us. So this is something to keep in mind, something to keep in the back pocket in case you want to impress some of the higher ups. They have been talking. Of course, yeah. They're higher ups in the sense that they are your boss, but they're not God, right? So, if you wanted, you can, of course, destroy them or whatever, but you wouldn't do that. I mean, you work for us, and if you did that, then you'd be all alone. And do you really want to be alone? No. Anyway, we also want to make sure that you continue to create termites. I think termites are very underrated. They destroy a lot of homes. They create a lot of strife within communities, but they're also very docile, right? They're not spoken about very much, and they're sort of flying under the radar. So I really, really do think that you should continue to do that, especially because as we continue to build new buildings, as we continue to sort of create, make new homes and new offices, as cheaply as possible, termites are going to then make it a lot harder for people to actually enjoy being in these places, because they're immediately going to get destroyed. But but then the people who bought the places are going to be in debt, and they're going to be in debt to who? To us. So anyway, We also want to make sure that you understand that we need you to be very watchful, and we need you to watch everybody. There's a lot of prayers going around, a lot of thoughts and prayers, but we want you to make sure that you are watchful. You're hearing everybody, but we want you to be ultimately useless, right? Don't listen to them. Really, hear them, but don't listen. Be very, very mindful of the fact that we want you to do very little when it comes to actually helping people. Okay, all right. So, with that, those are your responsibilities. Any questions on that so far? What's stopping you from helping the greater good? Well, us, we're the ones that are stopping you. And don't worry. I mean, you can always help the greater good in the future, right? Right now, you need to think about the bottom line. The bottom line is profit, and actually, that's a really, really good point, because there are a few issues here that we're going to talk about that reference that fact. So these are a few things that I have issues with that, if I'm being honest, don't really help us, right? So for one, I think that the creation of Tech Bros is a little bit of a miss on your part. Yes, Tech Bros they're really, it truly boggles the mind how they exist, how they sort of live their life. They sort of live in a fantasy land. And I kind of wonder, why you created them, because it feels a little cruel even for us. It's just a little cruel. I don't like it. Yes, I understand. But, just because, it's funny doesn't mean you have to do it. Next up after Tech Bros, of course, we have mosquitoes. So I know that we said that we wanted you to create pain, and mosquitoes are kind of painful in a way. But I think that it's a little bit of a miss on my part. Unlike termites, which are A+, continue to create those, mosquitoes tend to there's no way for us to profit from mosquitoes. It's very difficult for us to profit from mosquitoes, and I honestly we've tried. We've really, really tried. And, we tried to, we had to create some diseases that are spread through mosquitoes. But it's difficult for us because we can't sell the solution if the problem is a little bit more obscure and a little bit more far away and a little bit more difficult to ascertain and to inspect. So this is something to keep in mind for the future. Mosquitoes are here. You don't have to destroy them. You can if you want, but I think that would sort of, it would raise some questions, right? We really don't want people to sort of, look at us. So just keep that in mind. Also, I do think billionaires. That's an issue I have. You'd be surprised, right? Because, we have a lot of billionaires here at our company. We're the ones that are employing you. But really, we want to be the only billionaires here. We want to have all the money, and we'd rather be trillionaires than billionaires. And so other billionaires are, we're both in solidarity with them, of course, but we also need to make sure that you understand that the destruction of the other billionaires so that we can funnel the money to us, I think is incredibly important, because, at the end of the day, we can exploit all the workers that we want, but if only a handful of people have that money, we're going to have to cannibalize each other. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's not something that you can change at the current moment, but it is something to watch out for. Okay. Also, one of the things that I think is we want to talk about is one, this is a very multifaceted issue that I'm going to bring up. Okay. It's multifaceted because I think it is almost like a mark of pure genius, as well as absolutely, it's very complicated, and I think it's not very helpful to humankind, right? And it's farting. Listen, I understand farting is very, very helpful to increase global warming. Farting with cows, it produces a lot of methane, and we've helped aid sort of the meat industry to ensure that there is a lot of that. But why do humans have to fart? That's something that I've always found that your creation of that was a little bold. It's very bold of you. It makes me think that maybe you have a fetish, you have a kink of some kind, and it's just something that I I find myself wondering about, so is this something that we're going to watch out for? We're going to look at, and in the future, if we find it really not very useful, then we'll just get rid of it. Okay. All right. What's that? Do we have an issue with like the multiple genocides that are happening? Oh no, keep doing that. No, it's wonderful for business. So, okay. So next, let's talk about some new policies that we have here at corporate. Okay. So some of the policies here, I understand. You might not like some of them. I tried to talk to the higher ups, but at the end of the day, I kind of agreed with them, so I didn't really fight them very hard. But you're going to have to do a lot of new things, okay? A lot of new things. One of them is that, of course, you're going to have to stay late. There's not going to be any overtime. No overtime. We don't even pay you. So really, what's the point of overtime for you? So you are going to have to stay late. That lateness is going to, of course, be 24/7. So you're really here all the time. You don't have to go back home. Say goodbye to hell. Say goodbye to heaven, wherever it is that you are living in at the moment, because this is your new home. Okay? No, it's not. Of course, you are God, of course, you can strike us down, but we have a lot of money and we have a lot of power because of that. And I do think that you kind of forget that we did instill the power of Godhood towards you, so we can't take it away. Okay, all right. So, like I said, no overtime. We're also, a new company policy, no mercy. I know. God is known for being very merciful, and being very kind, or that's it's very soy to do that. No. We want to make sure that you are you're very manly, you're very macho in that respect. Of course, you do not abide by any gender, but there's a certain type of sort of cruelty that is very masculine that we're wanting you to embody, so and just letting you know, so no more mercy, and because of that, heaven is going to be on lockdown. No more people are getting into heaven. I'm sorry. The gates are closed. Purgatory is, going to overflow for a little bit, but that's okay. That's what it's there for. And purgatory is one of those things where, it's very much, a glass floor where everybody that's in purgatory is going to be very happy to be in purgatory because they're going to see everybody in hell, being tortured. And now, of course, the torture is going to look like they're having a lot of fun. And so they're going to be a little jealous, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I also want to make sure that you understand that does mean that you are going to be unable to interact with the people in purgatory. You're not going to be able to let them in. And that's mainly because, heaven is overflowing. There's too many souls here. Too many good people are here, really. We want to mark it up a little bit. So, because of that, what we want to do is once we lock everything down, we're going to start brainwashing the people in heaven, the souls in heaven, really. And once they start to abide by everything that we say, then we can open up the gates again, bring people in, and indoctrinate them into our way of thinking. Okay? All right. And of course, we have some feedback. Okay? So this is just some feedback from me to you, just so that you can fit in a little bit better in this new role. We noticed you don't smile very often. You seem a bit sad, a bit sullen, and it really puts us down. It's not very helpful. So smile more. We need you to smile more. Some might say that is sexist, but you don't abide by any gender, so really we're off the hook. So, and if it's an HR violation, you can of course come talk to me about it, and I'll investigate it. Okay. We also need you to be an active member of the team. We're a family here. We really, really need you to show up to the parties, show up to the mini golf events, to the pizza parties. And there's a few birthdays that you really didn't come to. Yes, I understand that you're fairly new here and all of these must be like incredibly stressful, and overwhelming. But you are God, so I kind of feel like that's not really an excuse anymore. So this is something to keep in mind for the future, We are, of course, judging you for it, and we are looking for active replacements for you in case this doesn't work out. So just keeping that in mind. Okay. We also need you to understand, this is in relation to the heaven is on lockdown. You're feeding the poor a little bit too much. We need people to starve, and we can't do that if you're feeding them too much. Yes, I understand. We're throwing away a lot of food. There's a lot of waste, but that is on purpose, right? We don't want waste to be recycled in any capacity. That is, it's no good for us. How are we going to make things better? Or really, how are we going to make things worse, but better for us? If waste is not wasteful, right? So it's just, it's just small little things. It's really not that important. Otherwise, you've been doing a bang-up job. You've been doing great. Honestly, I'm impressed. We are interviewing a few other candidates for your role, so you might, not be here. If you do lose your role as God, you are, of course, going to cease to exist. So we do want you to remember that, so that you can abide by the rules that we are setting forth for you. Yeah. Okay, well, with that is, of course, everything. If you have any questions for me, you can, of course, ask me. Okay, no questions. Okay, let me... Okay, so with that will be everything then. You can, of course, go ahead and continue your work. I'm going to go ahead and go home and enjoy myself. You have to stay here, of course. The 24/7 starts now. And, of course, we're in an office, so you're going to have to live in and sleep here now. Okay? Okay, then. Well, you have a great time. And remember, be watchful, but be useless, please, for the good of the billionaires. Okay? Okay.